All right, so now I want to turn to what was question 2 on the board earlier, the debate between egoism, predation, and altruism as the answer to the question about what the standard of value should be, or who the primary beneficiaries of the values, whatever we take the good values in life to be. Now I want to start with, again, the question of the meaning of life, and suppose we address that question journalistically initially, just to get some initial working data here. Suppose we say, if we were to ask what a meaningful life consists of, right, or if we could put that question negatively, what are the things such that if you didn't have them and you had no realistic prospect ever of having those things, life would not be worth living? And then we start just to generate a standard conception of what the best kind of life possibly would be, and what would some of the ingredients on that list be. Well, there are a lot of things that immediately then start coming to mind. Suppose we say, for example, that health is then an important value. We might say what we're doing right now is important. Education, right, is an important value. Having a career is something that's valuable. These are all, so far, 3 things that people do invest significant amount of time, money, and effort into. Oh, and then, of course, just mentioned money, right, is an important value. We might say friendship, right, is an important value. We might say that art is an important value. Just using art broadly here, how much music is important to us, or watching movies or reading works of literature is a value to us. We might have leisure, right, as as a category here, in which we might travel or engage in sporting activities and so forth. All right, so we start to then just generate, right, a brainstormed list here of value candidates, things that we think might be important values. And that's an open-ended list. At any point, of course, we can always add more things to the list, or subtract them if we no longer come to think of them as important to our lives. But I want to move on then to a follow-up question here. Suppose we have a list of things that we agree, or if I'm doing this individually, that I think are important things worth incorporating into my life, part of an overall good life. For any of them, we can ask why it's a good thing, right, or not. And that will then lead us not to simply have just a brainstormed and unstructured kind of list, but to give a rationale for the inclusion of any particular value on the list. So, draw a line here. Suppose, for example, we pick this one, which is the one that we're engaged in right now. Suppose I say, all right, education is a value. Why is it a value? I say, well, for most people who are engaging in the educational process, they're going to school, they're going to college, they're investing a certain amount of money and time in that. It's because it will pay off in terms of a career. Right? So what we've done here is connected one item on our list to another item on the list. Or it might be the case that the person is pursuing education not for career reasons, just because they enjoy the process of learning and they have a certain amount of leisure time. So what they're doing is pursuing education because they want to get certain leisure values. And the leisure values, say, well, why do they do that? Well, there might just be a certain amount of pleasure, intellectual pleasure, that comes from learning things that one didn't know before. Okay. So let's take this one here. So then we say career is a value, and education is a value because we think it's going to pay off in terms of a career. Suppose we then do the same thing for career. Why is a career a value? And then there are a couple of things that are important to say here. One is our career pays the bills, right? We get money from our career, and importantly, we're motivated by getting the money that's going to be included in our paycheck, and that's a big part of the rationale there. So we have education connected to career, which is connected to money, so we have a cause and effect list with a couple of connections being made here. I think it's also important to say that people pursue their careers for usually more than monetary reasons, particularly people who are investing in education. For any given amount of money that one can earn, there are any number of careers that could yield that amount of money. For most of us individually, the number of careers within that category that we're actually interested in doing is a much smaller subset. So if we say, for example, $50,000 a year is a nice amount of money to earn currently in the United States, that's above the national average. So suppose you said, all right, a career will earn me $50,000 a year, but there still are lots and lots of careers at which one could earn $50,000 a year. Why do you choose this particular career as the vehicle through which you're going to earn that particular value? And then we start to think about other values that our careers give us. For some people, working outside or working inside is important. For some people, having certain skills and being able to exercise those skills is very important, and they gain a great deal of satisfaction for doing so. For some people, working with other people socially is an important value. For some people, not having to work with other people socially is an important value. Now, all of these other, in many cases, non-tangible things that our careers do us, a sense of not having to do the same thing over and over again, or the ability to craft one's own hours and flexibility and so on. All of those things the economists call psychic income. And this is something that we don't quite have on the list yet, so I'm just going to add it in here. So we will pursue a career for various psychic values, as well as for various material values, including the money that we can get from it. Okay, carrying on. Suppose we say, all right, take money. Why is money a value? If we have money, then we can buy various things that we take to be necessities, like food, shelter, clothing, and so forth. And those things are good because they lead to health. If we don't have those things, our health deteriorates. So education leads to career, which leads to money, which leads to health. We also will spend money on our friends. If we have families, we'll spend lots of money on our families. Those are always very expensive operations. And then we can ask follow-up questions here. In the case of friends and family, why are we spending all of that money on our kids and people we care about? Well, in some cases, we are doing it because with our friends and families, we will be engaging in various sorts of leisure activities again. But also we hope to get love from our families, and we do love them, and so we see them as an outlet or object of our love. And so we have love, which is not on this list here, but we can add it here as well. We will also spend money on all sorts of leisure activities that we don't do with our friends and families, listening to music independently, reading books independently, going for walks or exercising independently. So there's a whole category of leisure activities here. Some of those leisure activities we might do for the sake of our health, like engaging in sports, or it might be that we want certain kinds of challenges. Say we enjoy competitive challenges or the exercise of certain kinds of skills, or it might be the case that we are interested in certain experiences of beauty, right, or various kinds of sublime experiences, experiencing the majesty of nature, right, or the beauty of certain kinds of artwork, and so on.